Page 4. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations through practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit sentient beings. Sangye joda zoge jonamna chancho pardo dane gyasuch Lage jinso gebe sonamge dola pengire sangye drubara isho Sangye joda zoge jonamna chancho pardo dane gyasuch Lage jinso gebe sonamge dola pengire sangye drubara isho Sangye joda soge chonamla chancho pardo dane gyapsuch Tago jin soge be sonamge dola penjir sangye drubara isho. The next page. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham datha gato yavatat Tesham chayo niroda evam vati mahashramanaye swaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham datha gato yavatat Tesham chayo niroda evam vati mahashramanaye swaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham datha gato yavatat Tesham chayo niroda evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Okay. Okay, now we will I'll share with you a quick 5-point meditation on emptiness, which you can do on a daily basis. And if you, once in a while, if you get a little bit of some feeling like the tinge of fear or calmness or ticking sensation, so forth, this is very precious. And particularly if you get a tinge of fear, no need to worry. Through constant practice, the fear will be replaced. This fear is the indication of the clash between the old-time thinking that things exist objectively, and the newly developed thinking, newly developed thought that nothing exists objectively. There's a clash there in your mind. So this clash is manifested in the form of a fear. So when that happens, or in some cases, uneasiness. If that happens, don't worry. Just continue practicing this, and then over time you see that this fear will be replaced with the extreme, the peace, tranquility, and you could say that earlier you might have a little tinge of mental disturbance for whatever reason. And with this practice, instantly this mental disturbance will be quelled. You'll feel that. So these are so precious. And then gradually, in time, you will realize that say, with all different emotional states, when you meditate in emptiness or when you do the Bodhicitta practice, the calmness that you feel is very strong, and then you will realize that these two are the things which are the most precious thing in the world for you. Okay. So for the 5 points, we just first sort of note them down. Say 5 points meditation on emptiness. Let's say 5 points meditation on emptiness. And I told you already that this is not something that you find in a book. This is what, say, after all these many years of my study, referring to various sources from my teachers and so forth, and then for the sake of the people who are not really exposed to emptiness, that they get the opportunity, at least they get some opportunity to practice emptiness on a daily basis. For that, so how best to make it happen? That accords with the standard position, as well as easy for the people to practice. This is what I drafted. You don't find in a particular, we can have the 5-point meditation emptiness. You will never find it. Okay. So the first point, let's say, just for you to remember easily, the person or the self, number one, self, number two, 6 elements, number three, two questions, number four, meditative equipoise of the space like emptiness. Meditative equipoise of space, meditative equipoise, EQUIPOISE. Meditative equipoise, EQUIPOISE. EQUIPOISE. Meditative equipoise. Meditative equipoise of space like emptiness. Meditative equipoise of space like emptiness. And finally, post-meditative experience of illusion like emptiness. There's nothing new there. It's just compilation from the various sources to make it one set. Okay, what is the first? Self or the person. Number two, 6 elements. Number three, 2 questions. Number four, meditative equipoise of space like emptiness. And number five, also meditative experience of illusion like emptiness. Okay. You all got it? Okay, what is the first? Self or the person. Number two, 6 elements. What is number three? 2 questions. Number four, meditative equipoise of space like emptiness. Number five, first meditative experience of illusion like emptiness. Okay. First, let me quickly explain what they are. Then after this, we will be meditate together on the basis of these 5 points. And later on, don't be complacent. Okay, now I got everything. Don't be complacent. Just by getting this and studying emptiness for like 3 or 4 days, you will not get anywhere. And it's just like, say, intro. And once you know how to practice this on the basis of 5 points and a little bit of introduce emptiness, and then if you where once in a while you go through difficult times, stress, and the really difficult times, instead of taking extreme steps, like, fighting with people or anything. Instead of taking extreme steps, they taking these steps, instead of helping, they'll harm you. So take steps to really help you. And where you have conflicts with people or unfair treatment and so forth in a job, or somebody abusing you, external factors. So there, they don't just say everything's internal. So the thing is that even this problem arises from the two factors: two hands, external, internal, both are there. And where you know that it is more like in the conventional sense, as pure external, without losing your temper, without becoming angry, just see how to deal with external factors well, to how to curb the external factors. This is one thing that you have to do. And then meanwhile, such external factors, how many times you will meet? Just tell me. There's somebody abuses you or unfair to you. Such external factors, how many times you will meet? Tell me. Infinite. So, therefore, even if you solve one problem, the next, infinite. So the wise people, what they do is that of the two hands, one hand symbolizing external, they are one of the other, like ripples will come. So the wise people, instead of tackling this, instead of tackling the external, of course, this part I'll explain more detail, they would go for the internal. Go for the internal, remove the internal completely, and then even if the external factors are there, no sound. Sound with the misery stops. This is a wise approach. But at the same time, in the conventional sense, if it is not your mistake at all, and if something is happening, then if there's a possibility that by taking appropriate measures, the external problems can be solved, go for it. Go for it without giving into and without becoming angry. If you become angry, finished. If you become angry, then you have lost the war. You have lost the combat. You should not become angry. In anger, the decisions that you take, they're not wise. It can be very self-destructive. So people say that when you're angry, don't make decisions. When you're happy, don't make promises. Because when you're happy, you make lots of promises. I'll do that, and then in the end, you cannot do anything. When you're angry, you take a lot of decisions, and all decisions are wrong. You're getting it? So in anger, don't take decisions. When you're happy, don't make promises. You're getting it? These are extremely experienced, these sayings of the people. Okay, so you take appropriate measures. And then another thing that we need also think of, it's an extremely smart way, is that if there's an issue coming from the same person A or situation A, it's quite a problem for you, it's very mentally disturbing, then even this person A is not enlightened. If the person A is enlightened, the person A will not create a problem on you. And if the person A creates a problem on you, the person A is to train you, right? Otherwise, if the person is creates problem deliberately, which means the person is not enlightened. If the person A is not enlightened, person A is a weakness. It's a sentient being, has weaknesses. Now, if you learn skills to deal with this person A, where the person A, surrenders to you, that's amazing. How many such persons A are waiting to meet you? There are so many of these person A, so many people. Once you know how to deal with one problem, you know how to deal with hundreds of problems in the future. All these hundreds of problems that are the same nature as the person A will be all resolved because you acquired the skill. So one key is like the master key. You got the master key, then you can open all the doors. You can solve all the problems. You're getting it? There's another skill the bodhisattvas have to learn. They don't just meditate emptiness so that I'm not affected by external things. They actually go there Bodhisattvas, they go in the community, deal with the people, deal with the situation, and maneuver the situation that the situation is kept under check, and that they can in fact manipulate the situation that the situation cannot affect, they can affect. Bodhisattvas can affect the situation or the people. So this is a very skillful thing that we have to think of. Oh wow, that's amazing. Encounter all these different problems. And if I acquire the skill, it's like magnet. If you're a magnet, then you all these say the metals, iron filings, and the things that are made of the iron, they will all be changed to a magnet by you. If you're a magnet, you know that when iron filings are with the magnet for long, even the iron filings they also become magnet. You're getting it? So this is how you can change the situation, transform the situation, and what is otherwise going to affect you, you can affect them. You can affect them positively. So these are the skills once you learn, would be extremely great skills. Later on, when you practice particularly when you practice bodhicitta, and you feel to the help other beings is very complicated. But helping others is very complicated, and as the circle increases to help the people in a family and a community, which is more complicated community, and the community and the whole nation is more complicated. Whole nation, whole world is more complicated. So the bodhisattvas, they have to reach out to all the sentient beings. Very complicated. So we need to have these skills, and these skills you have to acquire, you have to learn. So this is where the bodhisattvas practice is known as the skillfulness. The 6 perfections, 4 perfections, 6 perfections. What are they? Generosity, ethical discipline, patience, joyous effort or enthusiasm, meditative concentration, wisdom, 6 perfections. Additional 4 perfections. What are they? Skillfulness, aspirational prayers, power, and primordial wisdom. Primordial wisdom. Okay, so the first of the 4 is skillfulness. So the bodhisattvas, even conventionally, bodhisattvas should be really skilled. We have to acquire all these skills. The skills acquired, you will acquire these skills. The first thing that we need to do is that we should not give into anger. We should not give into anger. With anger, this is a failure of your war with afflictions. You fail. So when you don't give into anger, then your mind works very effectively. Okay, number 2 is that we learn from other people, other situations, because we're not perfect. We have limitations. Our knowledge is not complete. We learn from others. For example, like the physics. Don't think that don't struggle yourself. For the Albert Einstein, he knows this so well. Ask him. Everything's solved very easily. And for let's say for cooking, again, check what nowadays the world of internet. So easy. All these experts in the world, you can easily, they're all in your fingers, right? Check them and their skills. You can download them and you can learn from these. So this is how we can acquire the skillfulness. The more the information that you have, more learned you are, more skilled you can become, because you have the information, and information you use. This is what builds your skillfulness. Okay, good. So the meditation, 5-point meditation. Number 1 is a cell. So there, what we do is, okay, first I'll explain, and then we will do together. So first, what we do is that we sit. It's not necessary that we should sit like this when you are in the train, in the car, walking, or just in your room. You can, mentally be rested and do a little bit of, say, refuge bodhicitta if possible, the verse. I'll go for refuge Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, like this, say this. And then the thing of the self. So whatever emptiness you want to meditate on, you want to meditate on self, in the emptiness of the self, or emptiness of somebody who you love, or emptiness of the flower, or emptiness of anything. And gradually you can shift it from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And there is, and sometimes finally the self, emptiness of self, this is so important. And then, okay, first let me do this. Just see how the self appears to you. Just think of the self, how it appears to you. Then once you get it, that it appears objectively real, not like a dream, that is in lieu of identifying the object of negation. Once you get it, what is number two? 6 elements. Then subject the self to ultimate analysis. Subject the self to ultimate analysis. If the self does exist objectively, it should be seen by the ultimate analysis. Subject the self to ultimate analysis, we end up seeing the 6 elements. Like this water, subject this water to ultimate analysis, let's say the electron microscope, you end up seeing just a bunch of atoms, no water. So likewise, subject this to ultimate analysis, you end up seeing just the 6 elements. Okay. And what's next? 2 questions. Okay. The first question, what are you seeing? What are you seeing? Answer is, I'm seeing just 6 elements. Second question, where is this self? Where is this objective self? Second question, where is the objective self? Nowhere to be seen. It's not there. The objective self does not exist at all in our ultimate analysis. It does not exist at all. Okay. So, at the end of the answer given to the second question, then you see that self dissolves in the eyes of the ultimate analysis. When the self dissolves, stay in this experience. Abide in this experience where the self dissolves. This experience of this self, not being the emptiness of self, is not what you are fabricating. It's not what you are exaggerating. This is what you are, what you have discovered. You have discovered now. Okay, stay in this experience. So you see self dissolves like a space. This is known as meditative equipoise of the space like emptiness. Stay in this experience for a while. So this object as a self. In the ultimate analysis, it is empty, which means from the object is empty. Now, from this space like emptiness, from the ultimate analysis, slowly move to the conventional analysis, which means that come out of the meditation. Come out of the meditation, again the self comes back. Appearance of the self comes back, which means this self comes back means that you have switched the mind from the ultimate analysis to the conventional analysis. You have switched, because when you come out of the meditation, automatically your mind switched from ultimate analysis to conventional analysis. When you switch to the conventional analysis, again the self comes back. Self appears to your mind. So this self, from the space like emptiness, in the eyes of ultimate analysis, self is empty. In the conventional analysis, self is there, self appears. So the first one, ultimate analysis, form is empty. In the Heart Sutra, form is empty. This is the ultimate truth in the eyes of ultimate analysis. Then the second one is emptiness is form. What was earlier seen as the self is empty, now the self comes back. Emptiness is form. You're getting it? Emptiness is form, meaning the self comes back to which mind? Conventional analysis. Okay. Conventional analysis means from distance. From distance, just appearance takes place. Appearance. From the object, there's no self, which you have understood with the help of the ultimate analysis. From the conventional analysis, which is from distance, again, self appears to the mind. Appears to the mind is subjective or objective? Subjective. Object is empty. From the subject, it appears. Therefore, it is illusion-like. What is illusion? Illusion is where, for example, say, some people, they create illusion. Say, what we have is just the flower, and out of this flower, the magicians, they create like elephants, human beings, and so forth. There's no elephant there, but it appears as elephant. Appears as elephant. From the object, there's no elephant. But the subject-wise, there's appearance. Therefore, it is illusion. So, what we see, even the self, in the eyes of ultimate analysis, from the object is empty. From the subject, it appears. So, therefore, the self is illusion-like. You're getting it? Stay in this experience. Oh, moving from this ultimate analysis, conventional analysis, again, the self appears to the subject. From the object, is totally empty. From subject, it appears. So, if it's a mere appearance, like illusion. Okay, now this is the post-meditative experience of the illusion like emptiness. And then try as much to be mindful of this, that when you stand up, when you eat food, when you go out, they're all, so all these things that appear to my conventional analysis, they're all illusion like emptiness. You're getting it? This is mindfulness that we have. And Lama Tsongkhapa very clearly advised us that all virtues that you do, all virtues, making prostrations, making offerings, meditating, all these things must be done in the spirit of the awareness that everything is like illusion. And then with this, your virtues that you accumulate, they will not be contaminated, because it is with the influence of the wisdom of emptiness. So contamination is remotely distanced. Okay, good. So these are the 5 points of meditation emptiness. Now we'll do together. Okay. And what I would say is that, and you're being very consistent with this practice, you get some feeling, and then sometimes you may get stuck somewhere. Okay, now I can go beyond this. So say still something seems to be there as self from the object. Still something what the Pembastra last time said. Some images coming. So these questions come. Yes, of course. The best thing is to have a thorough study of the emptiness with the help of Acharya Chandrakirti's text. Acharya Chandrakirti's text, Madhyamaka Avatar, entry into the middle way. This is best. And the commentary on this by Lama Tsongkhapa now is available in English, translated by Dr. Tudinjibala. Is very good translation. It's available. Of course, it's a little costly. I think it's based on publication or whatever. I don't know. And but is otherwise in the earlier times we don't really have a translation of this. There were 1 or 2 translations, but I was not too happy with the translations. And Dr. Tudinjibala's translation is very good. He's extremely learned, and his translation is so good. So. This book's available. This is the best. Then number 2 is that the experiential speaking. So in my case, when I was a student in Dibun Monastery, after my studies in IBD, Institute Buddhist Studies in Dharamsala, then the second year of my Madhyamika class, I moved to Dibun Monastery. And after studying all this, then I started to have some questions coming up. I want clarity, and where can I get the clarity? So I was looking for, the very standard books here, there. So that is the best way of. And of course, I have my teachers there, and I always ask questions to my teachers about the emptiness, and then also looking for the sources. Very helpful. So in your case, your first thing is that you think of doing a thorough study of Madhyamaka Avatar. And of course, the NDC, not an development course, we don't do, Madhyamaka Avatar. We just do, say, like my own oral teaching, not on the basis of the scripture, not on the basis of the text, but oral teaching of emptiness. But NMC, not in the master's course, we do the appropriate teaching of the Madhyamika on the basis of the text. We do that. And that is extremely precious. This text by Acharya Chandrakirti is so precious. And then for fine-tuning of your experiences, you can discuss with your teachers. And if you're not happy, you can continue to read books, ask questions, meditate. And this is how the fine-tuning will take place. And the experience of emptiness is not like you get some feeling, okay, this is emptiness. And in fact, the people from the modern education, one drawback that I will tell you is that for you, me including myself, those with modern education, the drawback of this is that they only go to the level of, say, the study and reflection, and they don't go for the meditation. For example, in mathematics, 2 plus 3 equals 5. 4 is a disaster. Somebody said 4. 2 plus 3 equals 5. You know this. You don't have to. Your mind may not necessarily work so fast. Not necessary, right? If you know this, you're done. You're good. I know this now. I don't have to do it again. But emptiness, bodhicitta. This is not just what you know. You have to experience it. You have to feel it. For this, you have to meditate on this over and over again. And when you do this, the great masters, what they say is that with the emptiness experience, it can be like traveling from one place to the another place to still another place to the another place. You continue to see, for example, like from, say, the Jammu Kashmir to Kanyakumari, India. By train, if you go in the train like 3-4 nights, 3-4 days continuously, you continue to see different landscapes. You agree? So people have said, oh, India is a very hot place, which means the person does not know India. Because India has many places, some extremely cold, some extremely hot, some extremely beautiful weather all throughout the year. There are so many different places there. Likewise, we continue to see different landscapes. Likewise, emptiness, meditation emptiness is the same thing, that you continue to meditate for years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. You continue to see the landscape, different landscapes of emptiness every time. Every time it becomes more and more profound. Okay, we ready? So usually these meditations you can do just right away, quickly, or you can do with a little bit of, say, the first refuge bodhicitta, then a little bit of breathing meditation, particularly when you feel mentally you feel a little agitated, sad, heavy, then go to your room. Instead of cursing the situation, cursing other people, blaming other people, go to your room and just sit quietly, sit peacefully, if possible, cross-legged, and then say the refuge. I'll go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations, practice of giving, and so forth, may I become a Buddha, Tibet. Also, you just say this 3 times and wholeheartedly feel that I'm the mercy of the Triple Gem. Mercy doesn't mean that Triple Gem just pick me up like this. There's no connotation, right? Buddha as my teacher, Dharma as Buddha as my doctor, Dharma as my medicine, and the Sangha as my nurse. You getting it? So the Buddha taught me emptiness. Buddha taught me the bodhicitta. And then bodhicitta and wisdom, I practice, I feel it, that is my medicine. With this, my illness, disease of self-centered attitude, self-graspingness, all will be resolved. And in the process of taking the medicines, when you are very sick, you can't even have the energy, you don't even have the energy to take the medicines. You need the nurses to help you. So the Sangha say Sangha doesn't mean that somebody who's so realized. If we realize, you are very fortunate. If not, somebody who's some people who are like-minded, who love Dharma, who love to study wisdom of emptiness, who love to study bodhicitta, who love to talk about Bodhisattva Shantideva's book, Guided Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And then if we are more, say, more rigorous, then you can create a 2 or 3 people as Sangha. Okay, for this month, we will, we'll meet once every week or 2 times every week, online, offline, whatever. And then we'll discuss on Madhyamaka Avatar, entering Acharya Chandrakirti's text, or Guided Bodhisattva's Way of Life. So we will do, this is amazing. This is real meaning of Sangha. So because of them, what you learn is extremely stimulating. Your brain is being stimulated, and that your intelligence is built, and you get more information, intelligence built, and over time you see that you're growing. You may not see growing within 1 year, but like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you see that you're growing. You can see the difference between who you are and the person who has newly joined who have newly taken interest in these studies. Okay, ready? Good. Okay, so we just imagine that you sit properly and with folded hands, visualize all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, your parents, children, all the demonstration with you, and with folded hands, we say this verse together. I go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma. What is that? I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. As you say this, wholeheartedly feel that. And with this, then you take 3 deep breaths. 3 deep breaths. Just empty your mind. Don't think of anything else, all the problems that you've been through, the stress, tension, just forget that and take 3 deep breaths. Just focus on the breath. Just focus on the breath, and naturally it'll help you to stay away from these stressful thoughts. Sometimes 4 more. Good. So if your mind is focused on your breath, automatically your mind will stay away from these stressful thoughts, the conflicts, heaviness. All will be gradually, your mind will stay away from this. Your mind will feel light. Particularly if you take a deep breath, the breath and your mind is very closely connected. Deep breath, when you are in stress, the breath is very uneven. For example, say usually for the girls or the boys, when somebody's very stressed and a little bit of anxiety, you could feel that the person breathing from the chest moves. You could feel the chest is moving, which means that the breathing takes place only from the surface, from the upper part, not from the lower part. Your lungs are not fully utilized. Then the oxygen, of course, you have to breathe very heavily. It becomes so turbulent. And instead, if you take deep breath, all of your lungs are being used. All of your lungs, they're very effectively taking the oxygen, and the oxygen is sent to all the body through the lungs, and instantly you will feel the balance of your body. You could feel the lightness of the body, and because of your mind is focused on the breath, focus on breath, your mind will your mind after the situations which disturb your mind, it will stay away from this and focus on the breath. Your mind will feel, already you will start feeling the healing. You start feeling, you start to feel the healing. Okay, so once that is done, you can do like 7 times. And if the situation is still not really too good, again you do more, like 21 times of heavy deep breathing. And while you do this, make sure that your mind is after the breath. Just physically do this, and then mentally let your mind go. Go what haywire into these. She did this, he did this. This is a situation that my boss, my this. Then you do. Your mind is after this is pointless. It's waste. Just learn the skill. Learn the skill how to switch off. How to switch off your stress right away. Learn the skill. Otherwise, oh, he taught this. We have to. I'm very stressed now. And think about your boss. Think about your problem. This problem, that problem is totally waste of time. Better not do it. Okay. Once you do it, you are learning how to switch off and switch on. Switch off, switch on. Right? Your work, you have to do it. For the time this work, all these people involved, for time, just switch it off. Switch it off. Then this, just move the mind from the problem to the breath. And then the mind will feel that calmness. For example, let's say there's very complicated people there right in front of that person. 5 minutes is, even 2 minutes, too long for you. So stressful. Suddenly the person leaves and somebody so loving, caring, embracing comes. Instantly you feel the relief. You're getting it? So just the object, the perception changes your, say, the emotional states. So there, you're trying to change the perception from the stressful perception to the breath. If you succeed in this, you're switching off the complications. You switch off, and then your mind is on the breath. Just stay there for some time. Like 7 times, 21 times. Then you see that your mind calms down. You could feel that. Once that is successful, then we have to go into the meditation. Okay, ready? Okay, self. One, self. Think of how this self appears as objective real, or as subjective, or like a dream. Of course, not as a dream, as so objective real. But how do we evaluate if this self is objective real or not? Remember what Arjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, one knows those close by the mirage see water. To go closer. How to go closer? By subjecting yourself to ultimate analysis. Subjecting yourself to ultimate analysis, you end up seeing the 6 elements. Point number 2, 6 elements. Okay, just go through this, scan yourself, your body, your mind, scan it so well. Don't just rush. Scan it, and you see the very thin layers of skin. Behind that, the fatty tissues. Behind that, the cartilages, muscles, the flesh. And alongside, the whole skeleton is there. The heart, the lungs, the liver, the pancreas, the kidney, the spleen, the intestine. All these solid parts constitute the element of earth. So the element of earth is not self. Then the element of water 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts. Just imagine, just imagine if as well you are seeing your heart, inside the heart, the blood is being pumped out, in and out to different parts of the body. Of course, that is not me. Element of fire, body heat, 2,600 joules of energy. If you don't know what is 2,600 joules, don't worry. Just the body heat, you will feel the body heat. That's element of fire. And that's also not me. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in and out. Just imagine that you're in the lungs and it breathes in, out, in, out, in, out. The air. Of course, that is not me. I don't go into the lungs. I'm not pushed by the lungs. So the air element of air is also not me. Element of space. 99.99% of my body is space. But I'm not a space. I'm a solid person. Space vacuum in nature. I'm not vacuum. So even element of space is also not me. What is left now? Consciousness, my mind. Even this, my mind is also not me. My mind. I'm a male. I'm a female. My mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. And people can see me. People cannot see my mind. So therefore, even the element of mind, element of consciousness is also not me. Okay, now, in the eyes of the ultimate analysis, what do you see? You very clearly see where earlier you saw as a self, now you see the 6 elements. Just stay in this experience. Okay, the 2 questions. What are you seeing? I'm seeing the 6 elements. Second question, where is the self? To be identified, one of these 6 elements to be identified as a self, or different from 6 elements to be identified as self, intrinsically one, or intrinsically different from the parts. None of the 2 is true. In our ultimate analysis, from the object, where is the self? The self is no way to be seen. If you've been through 6 elements one by one, not just in front of you, but where your body is, where your self is. If you go through all these 6 elements one by one, then you get a feeling the self is empty. Okay, second question, where is the self? The self is empty. It's nowhere to be seen. In our ultimate analysis, it's not that self is non-existent. Self does exist, but it exists in our conversion analysis, not ultimate analysis. In our ultimate analysis, to my amazement, I discovered that the self is empty. Nowhere objectively the self is there. Objectively, the self is nowhere to be seen. Self is empty. Stay in this experience for a while. And a tinge of fear can come. A tickling sensation can flow through your body. Cold waves can flow through your body. Goosebumps can come to you. A very extremely tranquil feeling can come at the core of your heart. If any of these things happen, you're very fortunate. If not, don't worry. Just continue with your more extensive studies, reflection, meditation, emptiness. Eventually get this. Okay, stay in this experience of the space, like the self dissolves like a space. Stay in this experience. This is space like emptiness. Meditative equipoise of the space like emptiness. So precious. When you get it, when you get this even a tinge of a feeling of the emptiness, a glimpse of emptiness, it'll give you such calmness. Okay, slowly move from the ultimate analysis to the conventional analysis by coming out of the meditation. Coming out of the meditation, you invariably move from the conventional analysis, ultimate analysis, to the conventional analysis. So the indication is that the self again appears to your mind. Yes. In the first case, space like emptiness, I'm 100% sure that from the object there's no self. Now the self appears to my mind is a mere appearance. Mere appearance means like illusion. Okay, in this experience of the self appearing to you, be mindful that the space, that the self is like the illusion. So this is post-meditative experience of the illusion like emptiness. So let us be mindful of this as much as possible throughout the day. Okay, come out. Come out. Good. Okay, this is how we do the practice. And sometimes, where when you go through really difficult times, extremely stressful, the anger, so there are two things: acute stress and anger. These were different. Stress can happen to almost all people, but anger, this is your choice. When anger arises, tell yourself that there's no excuse to this. Anger, there's no excuse. Anger is a sign of weakness. Let's not forget it. Anger is a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of strength. How? How is it a sign of weakness? Say, if we chase a dog with a stick, if we chase a dog with a stick, what will the dog do? The dog will run away. And finally, if the dog is cornered, now the dog realizes there's no way to run. There's no space to run. What will the dog do? Dog will attack you. So dog attacking you is the metaphor for your anger. Your anger is a sign of weakness. You don't see any other option. You don't see any other option as a solution. Then the dog sees that there's no way to run. Then the dog bites at you, attacks you. So anger is a sign of weakness. Dog is vulnerable, therefore attacks. So anger is that you don't know how to solve the solution. So you give into anger. This is a sign of weakness. Not knowing the solution is your weakness. When you don't know the solution, then you show anger. This sign of weakness is not a strength. Number one. Number two, with anger, why it is weakness is that you cannot take a proper decision. The decision that you take is going to be 99% wrong. And this decision you'll regret. What makes you regret? This is your weakness. What makes you feel proud? That is your strength. What makes you regret? That is your weakness. And with the anger, no doubt what happens is that with anger, your body will be thrown into imbalanced state. With imbalanced state, your body will go into your immunity will be consumed. Your immunity will weaken. And as your immunity weakens, then you are prone to any kind of disease, contracting any kind of disease. And in fact, it's very sad. Anger can actually kill yourself. Not that you'll stab yourself. Anger can make your body so weak that eventually you can, your anger actually kills you. So anger is a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of strength. Let's not forget it. So if that does happen, but then what to do when I'm the anger? I'm so weak. I have nothing to do other than to express my anger. What to do, right? So there, yes, it's easy for me to talk, but when somebody is really in the grip of anger, it really deserves to be deserves compassion for that person. So under such situation, what you do is that when that happens with your family members, with a husband, with a wife, whatever, the best thing is first, as taught by Bodhisattva Shantideva, first stop the physical and verbal expressions of the anger. Stop that. That is easier. Mentally, it's very spontaneous, but physical and verbal, you can control them. Then the best is go to your room, sit there, take deep breath, and then this meditation on emptiness will not work. You can do this, but it will not work. When in the grip of the anger, the self is so high quality objective existence. You cannot dissolve it with meditation. Your meditation is so weak, and this anger is such at the peak, as the height of the intensity. So the self-grasping ignorance will just overshadow your wisdom. Your wisdom is so weak. So what do you do? One thing that can be very helpful is the way the Bodhisattva Shantideva has taught, that first remain like a piece of wood. remain like a peaceful word, meaning that don't utter words when you are in the grip of anger, and then physically don't express anything. If possible, remain like a peaceful word means you just shout at the peaceful word and the peaceful will not react. Don't react physically and verbally. Stop that. Okay. So as you then even better would be better, meaning that the same version what the Buddha Shanti taught, you can do it effectively by going to a room and just take deep breath. And meanwhile, focus on the breath. Just focus on the breath so that your mind will be carried away from the situation of the anger to the neutral, which is the breath. And the mind will calm down. You could feel it. Just focus on the breath. Do it like 21 times. If the need be, 40 times, 50 times, and so forth. And still, if you could feel this, then learn the skill. This is so beautiful. Learn the skill. Just observe where is this anger? Just observe where is this anger. Keep observing it. Where is this anger? And to your amazement, this anger subsides so effectively. It may not last too long, but you can see that anger subsides. Your mind becomes calm, cool. It's amazingly effective. Just observe, where is this anger? Okay, so just for information, it was once I was in my personal retreat and I was sitting cross-legged for 2 hours, 3 hours, do meditation, like cross-legged like this, and sometimes so much pain, because when the seat or when the mattress is not too even, then after like 1 hour, 2 hours, then the pain starts to come on your thigh. The pain, and the pain is so acute, sometimes on the knee. So I just, of course, this is what is taught. This is what is taught. And yes, it was so painful and it's very disturbing. I cannot focus my mind on my meditation. So what I did is that where there's a pain, physically, where I feel it, I looked at it with my eyes. And mentally, I was just mentally, eyes are on the spot where the pain is felt. So mentally, I was thinking, what is that pain? Like, where is this pain? I just focus it. And within a few seconds, pain disappeared. I was so amazed. And then I was wondering how it works. How did it work? This is my question. Then I got the answer. Answer is that, so when you feel the pain, who feels the pain? Your mind feels the pain, which means your mind is busy after the pain. Right? Now you're telling the mind that, hey, just keep an eye on the pain. So now you assign your mind to be the observer, not the observed, to the observer, meaning the subject. You tell the mind, okay, just look at this, look at this small child, what the child is doing, the pain, observe it. So your mind from the pain, your mind, mental consciousness is one at a time. You're getting it? Sense consciousness, they're multiple, but mental consciousness is one at a time. So your mind is, otherwise your mind is so busy. On the one hand, the pain, usually it's after the pain, and then when you say it's very painful, it moves to the subject. Otherwise, it goes to after pain, it's very painful. Now you assign the mind with a different job. Otherwise, the mind is doing the job of feeling the pain. Now you say, no, don't feel the pain, observe the pain. So the mind is assigned to be the observer. So what is observed? The pain. What is observing? The mind. And the pain is also a mental state. Pain is a physical, and the pain is, the information of the pain is transferred to the mental. Again, the mental is also feeling the pain, and mind is also observing the pain as observer and observed, both. So since that you have given the work to the mind, to the observer, so the mind is more observing. As the mind is more observing, actually it goes like this: observer, observed, observed, like this. It's moving like this, so fast.
Now that you train yourself to be the observer more, then as it becomes observer more, initially it's like so fast, it's sort of like two minds there. One is the pain, mind is from pain, other is observer. Then when you train to do it, observe all the time, then gradually, say first it's like this. It's like this. So say half the time is here, half the time here. It's equally distributed, so that it's still like you feel that I'm the observer, I'm feeling pain also. Then gradually, with the training, it happens is that your mind will observe more, and then go to the pain a little bit, and again come back as observer, and gradually it stays there with the observer more, and not with the pain. So the mind is not feeling the pain when it is fully with the observer. So you're observing, a pain disappeared. You're getting this extremely powerful practice. You can try this. Try this. And if you these are things where you learn it, you practice it, and you become expert in this. And once you are convinced, once you become expert in this, you really become, I wouldn't say expert, you become good at it, then you can teach other people also. You're getting it? Okay. Then the next point that I'd like to share with you is that the one thing which is very easy for us to solve our problems. Many of our problems is because in a way we are pampered. If the problem is between your parents and children, you as a child and the parents, usually because that you take for granted the parents' love and affection. So what is so you have learned what? Your problems, all the problems are the what? Ceasing comes the afflictions is nirvana. Then, hey, did we do it? We did not do that. We did it. Ceasing karma's afflictions is nirvana. Karma's afflictions arise from conceptualization of the inappropriate attention, which in turn arises from the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance. And the elaboration ceases through the wisdom of emptiness. I think we did it 2 years ago. 5 years ago? Or 5 days ago? Are Nagarjuna's Mulamadhyama Karika, chapter 18, verse 5, I think. Just look at it. Page 116, chapter 18, verse 5. Okay. I'm very lucky to have met with people like you that remember these verses, all these things. So I learned it myself. I'm very fortunate. Thank you. Okay. So from this verse, how many points are indicated? 5 points are indicated. What are they? Ceasing of karma's afflictions is nirvana. Opposite of nirvana is samsara, misery. Then misery arises from contaminated karmas, which in turn arises from afflictions, which in turn arises from inappropriate attention, which in turn arises from self-grasping ignorance. Okay. Tell me very honestly, how many you don't want to suffer resistance? How many don't want to suffer? If you don't want to suffer, then from these 5 points, remember these 5 points. You have to have this verse by heart. In Tibetan, leda nyumo sebe tar, leda nyumo namdole, leda tuele tubani tombani gabagyur. So, we have to remember this verse by heart and know these points. So that if you don't want suffering, you have to stop the contaminated karmas. If you don't want to contaminate karmas, what should you do? Stop the afflictions, gross afflictions. If you don't want the afflictions, what should you do? You should stop the inappropriate attention. If you don't want the inappropriate attention, what you should do? You should stop the self-grasping ignorance. And if you want to stop the self-grasping ignorance, what should you do? Wake up from the sleep of ignorance. You're getting it? This is what we learned from day one we were here in this class. Okay, good. 5 points. Let's not forget these 5 points. So this is so important. If you don't want to, let's say, go through miseries, stress, and so forth, and of course, what I'm sharing with you, this is extremely important, and we should think of long-term plan. Let's not think of immediate quick fix. We should think of long-term plans and say what will be done. For example, to be very honest, okay, just sharing usually it is advised not to share your personal spiritual journey with other people. You're getting it? It is advised you have to keep it confidential, because that the moment you share these, they form coincide, there's some ego coming up. So the whole spiritual journey is to crush the ego, and now that becomes the aid to increase your ego. So therefore, it is advised to keep it very low profile. But I'm sharing with you to tell you that these are things that we can do. You're getting it? For example, say one of us retired after this class, and then in the evening again there was a class, Tibet House class, NDC, NMC class. And then I also had a little bit of sore throat then. And then I did not really have energy. So I lie down to sleep. I slept, and part of my prayer is still not done. And then at 1 o'clock, 1:30, I got up. And then continued my prayers and practice. So till like 3, and again I slept. You're getting it? No excuse. If you don't want suffering, say for example, if they have a tumor there, I don't want surgery. But if there's a tumor there, you have to go through a tumor. You have to go through surgery. You're getting it? Likewise, if you don't want the miseries, you have to go through this wisdom of emptiness and the bodhicitta. No matter what, no excuse. You have to do this. Oh, I'm tired. No excuse. You have to do this. If you don't do that, you cannot get out of the tears of samsara. Okay, so now, practically speaking, the one advice, I would say message, suggestion, advice given by the great masters. I don't think Arjuna taught this. Season of karma's afflictions is nirvana. Karma's afflictions arise from conceptualization of inappropriate attention, which in turn arises from the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, and the elaboration ceases through the wisdom of emptiness. 5 points. So keep in mind that I like to give the metaphor, one very important metaphor, and you think of this metaphor, and then you will be convinced. You'll be more convinced. Once you're more convinced, and then act accordingly. Okay, the metaphor that I like to give you is that how many of you have seen, let's say, the coastal area, the coast, ocean, the coast area. Okay, beach, I'm not too sure, but I've seen some places where there's it's an ocean there, and then the coast. You see the water, and the water is so clean, and you could see the base down there, the ground there. You could see the rocks, all this you can see very clearly. And then there was in Israel, and people were riding the motorboat, the boat which runs so fast. So when they run so fast, this water, it creates some white colored waves. Okay, don't forget it. Now, so this water, whatever it is, clean, white, whatever, this is a metaphor of your mind, this water. Now, what you want to see is that you want to see the Buddha nature manifest. How many want to see the Buddha nature manifest? Which means, in simple terms, where your fearlessness and infinite happiness arise. It manifests. How many want the raise hands? Okay. And how many are very serious with this raise hands? If you're very serious, Let's not forget this example of the water. This water is the metaphor for your mind. And this water takes various forms. Your mind takes various forms. This water, when the motorboat moves on the water, it takes form of whitish, very forceful wave. Whitish. But you don't want to see this white, you want to see the very clean nature of the water. So if you want to see the clean nature of water, what should you do? First, this whitish wave should stop. You agree? You agree? Good. Now the whitish wave should stop. Okay, after some time, it stopped, and I was just observing this water all the time. The whitish wave stopped. Very forceful wave stopped. After this, I saw that inside the water, you can see inside the water, you can see the bubbles inside. You can see the bubbles inside. So if you want to see the purity of the water, even the bubbles should stop, yes? Even this bubble inside should stop. Then the bubble stop. You observe it, then you see that very tiny sediments. You can see tiny sediments, the sand particles. If you want to see the purity of the water, even these sediments should stop. Yes? Hey. Okay. Now the sediments stop. You look at, you see the flow of the current inside. Current meaning the water current, not the electric current. Ocean current, yeah. So just in the water, you see some kind of movement there. Movement, very subtle movement. So with this movement, still you are not seeing the perfect purity of the water. If you want to see the perfect purity of the water, even the current, ocean current, the water current, that should stop. You're getting it? Then what manifests is the true purity of the water. You're getting it? How many steps are there? 5, are you sure? Okay. So first, the whitish, what is that? Very forceful whitish, the waves, that is the metaphor for our contaminated karmas. If you don't want suffering, you should stop the contaminated karmas, without which you cannot see your true nature of your mind. Okay, so once you stop this, then you will see the bubbles inside. These bubbles are the metaphor for your afflictions, gross afflictions, attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth. These bubbles should stop. Once the bubble stops, then you see the sediments. Sediments. So these sediments are the metaphor for your inappropriate attention. These must be stopped. Once you stop that, then you see the water current of the water inside, like it's just a colorless, but you see something like so like moving like this inside. There's no object moving, but the movement of the water inside, you could see that. This current must stop. That current is a metaphor for the self-grasping ignorance. When that stops, then the purity manifests. You're getting it? That's the true nature of mind manifesting. Okay. So for this, what should be the first step? Tell me. What should the first step to be done? Hey. Stop the very whitish, very strong wave, whitish wave, which is a metaphor of the contaminated karmas, right? And the contaminated karmas, to stop the contaminated karmas, we don't really have to go for extensive studies like emptiness, years. No, very simple. Stop the 10 non-virtuous karmas. Just stop that. 3 physical, 4 verbal, 3 mental. Stop these. These are something so obvious. For example, stealing. Stop stealing. Your mind involved with stealing, this very extremely gross state of the mind. Stealing, killing, sexual misconduct. Stop these. 4 verbal, telling lies, then slander, then harsh words, then idle gossip. Stop these. For example, say, I don't know how frequent that is. So oftentimes people, say even in some of the offices, right? Offices, gossip is their favorite thing to do. Gossip. This is idle gossip. Idle gossip. Stop all these things. If you don't stop this, then talking about philosophy and so forth is just a waste of your time. Stop these. So, 3 physical, 4 verbal, and 3 mental. What 3 mental? Covetousness, ill will, and wrong view. Stop this. Covetousness, desiring to possess the belongings of other people. All these complex things are there. For example, like what's happening in Ukraine. Russia, Putin, the poor Putin, he's so desirous to own the territory of somebody else. It's all covetousness. And even in a very simple, we don't talk about the international level, even the community, in your family level, so the people, they go into the relationships, all these issues, relationships, right? Cheating, all these things, they're all covetousness. If you don't stop these, it's impossible to stop your miseries, your tears. You cannot stop. Because these are the causes of miseries. And if you don't, this is something we don't have to learn. What is cheating? You don't have to learn what is cheating. You know what it is. Stop it. What can be done? Do that. And what can be done? We don't do that. And we think of, say for example, the irony that I see is that the planet Earth, there's so much water. The water that we have, we pollute the ocean, we pollute the river, we pollute everything. And then we are talking about in the Mars whether there's water or not. And they spend billions of trillions of dollars to go to Mars, and there's a trace water in the earlier, there must be some water. You have the water, take care of this. You are not taking care of this. The governments that make rules, regulations to make sure that this water are taken care of. In the olden times, you can drink the water directly from the stream. Now, which water can you drink? No, you cannot drink the water. So what that you have, you just ignore. You just destroy them, pollute them. And where there's no water, you just expect, there's water there, you spend billions of trillions of dollars. It's just so unwise. So what I'm saying is that what you can do that. And then related to stealing, killing. Stealing, say like tax, evading the tax. Try your best to not evade the tax. Of course, try best not to evade the tax. One time, what happened was that I was keen to give some presents to all the staff of Tibet House, and I assigned one staff to work in this, to buy things for the staff on my behalf. And the person is very practical. He asked me, Geshe, what is the budget? Then I said, this amount, X amount. Then he said, the staff will get, good items. And he added one sentence saying that we don't have to pay tax. I said, why? I said that if you pay tax, in the first place, we don't have to pay tax because that this is not the office work, this is your private matter, and you don't need a bill. You don't need the proper bill, invoice, which means that you don't have to pay the tax. And I said, why not? I said, no, you don't have to show this to any audit. It's your private thing. I said, it doesn't matter. What's the rule of the government? Should I pay the tax or not? He said, yes, you have to pay the tax. Then pay it. Then he said, if you pay, then the money will become less, and then you will not get these good things for them. I said, it doesn't matter. Don't compromise the quality of the items to be given to the staff. If there's any extra money need to be paid because of the tax, tell me, I will give you the money. You don't have to you don't have to compromise the items to be given to the staff. So what I'm saying is that try your best not to evade the taxes. Evading taxes like stealing. You're getting it? Okay, here's one thing. Then the no killing. No killing. Of course, we'll not go and kill somebody else. But like mosquitoes, like this, mosquitoes killing. And then the ants on the road, just without paying any heed to the ants are there, and she'll just walk and kill the ants. So these we have to stop. And these affect your mind so badly. Disregard to the life of others. Disregard to the life of others. This is what happens, and it builds a tendency, inertia in your mind. Inertia in your mind. The more you do that, more the inertia left in your mind, the tendency left in your mind. More the tendency, more it is difficult to get it off in the future when you practice bodhicitta. It's so difficult to generate bodhicitta. Okay. So in this connection, I'll say the vegetarianism. Vegetarianism. I never tell people that non-veg people they are demons. I never say this. And some I also don't agree. I'm vegetarian, but I don't agree with the people being too aggressive. Aggressively saying that non-vegetarians are like demons. I personally don't agree with this. What do you do? That is your choice. You are aggressive, not aggressive. That's your choice. But I personally don't agree with this because we can't expect Gade Bodhi Swaha. We have to go Gade Para Samgade Bodhi Swaha. So my take, what is my take? My take is that from this class, if somebody says, oh, Geshe talked about say, avoiding the 10 non-virtuous actions, one of which is killing. Related to that, he talked about vegetarianism. And I'm non-vegetarian. I can't stay without eating meat. I can't stay without eating meat even for a day. But he talked about vegetarianism. And I appreciate it. So I decided to do one thing that some people, this is what I've been, the feedback that I get from people, that some people say that henceforth, I never buy meat and cook in my house. From that time onwards, I eat outside, but not in my house. This is amazing development. I appreciate it, that the person has taken steps. Some people say that I stopped eating chicken because chicken is something that the butchers can easily kill them. And whereas the bigger animals, if the meat is finished and you ask for it, they will say they come tomorrow. Today is finished. But chicken, they will say wait for 5 minutes. It's very easy. So therefore, I stay away from eating chicken. I stopped chicken, and the rest I eat. Even this, you have taken a step. I really appreciate. And some people say that usually I eat every day. Now I eat only once in a week. There's also amazing step. And some people say that, that okay, some people know I'm very sorry, I can't do anything. Without meat I cannot survive. Somehow I can stop it. But I really appreciate people who turn to as vegetarian. I appreciate it. Even this appreciation is so precious. I appreciate. So whatever step that you can take it. This is my personal take. That if anybody takes some step, this is what I rejoice. I have no complaint that you are a butcher, you are this, you are that. No, I'm not at all. I don't really agree with them being aggressively pushing somebody to be vegetarian. Only thing is that you share your thoughts and appreciate any step the other person takes, and then that the person gradually will take deeper and more say profound steps and eventually become pure vegetarian. That's amazing. I really appreciate it. Okay, if you do become vegetarian out of this talk, make sure that you don't neglect your food. It's very important, meaning take care of your B12. Take care of B12, so important. And then, okay, now look, Geshe thought about it. Now I don't eat meat. Now what's the food? There's no fun in food, right? just eat something, right? And then in 1 week time, 1 week's time, 2 weeks time, your body goes down. You become sick, and people say, "Hey, don't become vegetarian. Look at this girl, right? This girl earlier used to be so nice, so beautiful, so nice, so strong, healthy, and went to Geshe Dorji Damdul's the retreat, and then became vegetarian, and then now look hospitalized. Look at this, how slim, like a bone, so slim." Right, don't become vegetarian. So you can potentially become a bad example for people. In other words, for people to be dissuaded from become vegetarian. So if you turn to vegetarian, become vegetarian, I really appreciate it. And please take care of your diet, which means don't neglect your B12. Make sure that you have enough protein and eggs. Some people, they go to the other extreme, saying that I'm pure vegan. Again, I appreciate. I'm not vegan. I approach these on the basis of they say this is my take. Everybody, you have your own individual take. So my take is that, and they say I try to stay away from eating eggs also. And then one point, my health really go bad. And I checked with the eggs. I did the research on this, whether the egg is actually vegetarian or non-vegetarian. What do you mean vegetarian? People have different versions. It doesn't matter. So for you, eating eggs, not eggs, is not out of any other reason. It's dirty and so forth. No, it's because of at least out of compassion for the sentient beings. And compassion it varies in degrees. My compassion, of course, I'm not a Buddha. I'm not a Bodhisattva, right? I try my best. I try my best within this level. Say, as long as the egg is not fertilized, as long as the egg is not fertilized, for me it's fine. For me it's fine. Not fertilized means it's like anything else, like a potato, so forth. Fertilized means it is a life there. Then there's no difference with the meat, because the life is being destroyed. You what is it? Break the egg, and one life is gone. So, and if you are being vegetarian because of compassion, then I would say that the fertilized eggs, I stay away. I did it in a way like thorough research, a deep research on this, whether the eggs they have life or not. Some have, some don't have. Which don't have, usually the eggs which are readily available in the shops, in the markets, readily available, they are without life. Those, in fact, particularly in India, in the other place I don't know. In India, those with life, they call it desi anda. So they are more expensive, twice the cost, or 3 times the cost. And whereas the ordinary eggs, they are much cheaper. So these ordinary eggs, they don't have life. But the question arises, there are many other questions. I don't want to go into this. For the time being, this is it. So what I would say is that take steps. Don't take drastic steps. Later on, when you become vegan, it's your choice. It's your choice, staying away from any milk product, any eggs, and so forth. That's your choice. But I would say that if you follow vegetarianism, simply because I encourage you, I'm advising you that don't take drastic steps. Stay from eating meat, and stay away from eating fertilized eggs. You can eat eggs, you can drink milk. Make sure that your body doesn't go the wrong health. It must remain very strong. And meanwhile, B12, which is more easily available in the meat products. So for the B12, there are always supplements there. You can take B12 supplements once in a while. Don't take it every day. Say once in a while, for about say the 1 week, 2 weeks, you can give a break, and again you take it. That is very safe. Otherwise, excess B12 can also create problem. So these are things that I would suggest related to the vegetarianism, and we have to take steps. I personally attempted vegetarianism so many times when I was studying, where the food condition was so bad and my health really gone extremely bad, and then people encourage me to take the non-veg. My mind says no, but just to make them happy, I did it. And again, I come back to vegetarian, and then since 2004, it is complete vegetarian. I'm very happy about it, and yes, I do take care of my the milk and the eggs, unfertilized eggs, and then the B12 and these things, make sure that you take care of. Yeah. And so if this is all done out of sense of compassion for sentient beings, then every day, unintentionally, you are accumulating merit. And this merit will, the moment you practice bodhicitta, when you really practice bodhicitta more seriously, bodhicitta will arise in you very quickly in comparison with, as compared to otherwise. Good. Okay. Okay, last but not least is that we all have the potential to grow. We all have the Buddha nature. Let's not forget it. Never ever underestimate yourself. Never ever think that I cannot do that. Nobody can fail you. Only you can fail you when you say that I cannot do that. Nobody can fail you. It's only you who can fail. So how do you know that? Let me give you one example. Say you have a stupa, and somebody else, your friend, also has a stupa. Your friend's stupa is glowing, is a golden stupa. Your stupa is worn out, dusty and worn out, right? Oh, my stupa is hopeless. Look at my friend's stupa is glowing. Remember that everything is dependent originated. And this stupa, the one of stupa, is the metaphor for your mind, which is so sluggish, so slow, and you think that I don't know anything. Your friend's stupa is the metaphor for the friend's smartness, intelligence, compassionate, very skilled, all the skills, talents are there. That's the metaphor. That the golden stupa, glowing golden stupa is the metaphor for that. Now, that's golden stupa, glowing. Your one is very dusty, worn out stupa. But keep in mind that these two share one thing in common. That is, both are dependent originated. Both are dependent originated. The person who is so talented with all the good qualities, right? So all the good qualities are there, and me, this is not there, this is not there, this is not there, this is not, I'm sort of a failure, one thing that is common between two of you is that you both are dependent originated. So these two stupas, how they're dependent originated, this stupas by definition is made of bricks. This stupa is the result of the bricks, dependent on the bricks. Let's say 1,000 bricks, 1,000 bricks. Those bricks are all golden bricks. Yours one is worn out bricks. So if you don't like this worn out stupa, you want to make it golden stupa. What do? Remove one worn out brick, replace it with a golden brick. That is, today you study about the 4 essentials. You study the first essential well. The next day, again you remove another worn out brick and replace it with a golden brick. Again, next day you study the second essential. Essence to understand emptiness, which is being intrinsically one with its parts. One out brick is removed and the golden brick is added. You're getting it? Over time, after like say 500 days, your stupa starts to glow. You're getting it? How do you know that? When you interact with other people who attend the retreat newly, you have many things to share. And wow, you're very intelligent. Actually, you're not intelligent. You learn. Now you've become intelligent. You've learned these things, right? And then after 10 years, because how come you're like an omniscient person, right? So this is because you have removed the worn out bricks, replaced with the golden bricks. Amazing. Then one day it becomes a golden stupa. Everybody will admire this. This is how we become enlightened, right? Even intelligence is also dependent originated. So, therefore, we all have this potential to shine like a golden stupa. So, knowing that golden stupa, Vana stupa, one thing in common is that both are dependent originated. Those factors depend on which the stupa comes. If these factors are worn out, the stupa becomes worn out. Those factors depend on which the stupa arises. If the bricks depend on which the stupa arises, if they are the golden, the stupa becomes golden. Right? So therefore, our job is to keep removing the worn out bricks, replace with the golden bricks. Eventually, your stupa of your mind will become a golden stupa, which everybody will revere, the way, the manner in which His Holiness's mind, His Holiness the Dalai Lama's mind, is being revered, loved by everyone. This is the same potential each one of us has. Okay, good. Good. Now what we do is the soul offering.